Well deservedly so. You may think Google should be left alone to maximise profits, but it certainly is under fire again today because a report by members of the UK Parliament has delivered a scathing attack on its tax affairs. The influential Public Accounts Committee is saying Britain's tax authorities should fully investigate the internet giant. It says Google runs a highly contrived scheme to avoid paying tax on its multi-billion-dollar UK profits by running its UK business from Ireland. According to the PAC, Google generated around $18 billion of revenues from the UK. That was between the years of 2006 and 2011. Now, during that period, it paid just $16 million in corporation tax. That's less than 0.1%. Now, if you put that in perspective, the main rate of tax on companies over the period was around 30%. In a statement, Google says, as we've always said, Google complies with all the tax rules in the UK, and it is the politicians who make those rules, and it's clear from this report that the Public Accounts Committee wants to see international companies paying more tax where their customers are located, but that's not how the rules operate today. So Google says we welcome the call to make the current system simpler and more transparent.
You're a company that says you do no evil, and I think you do evil in that you use smokes and mirrors.
I don't think it's a matter.
The tongue-lashing Google's senior executive received before the Public Accounts Committee couldn't have been more embarrassing. And for the former employee who blew the whistle on how the internet giant handles its tax affairs, the subsequent report comes as no surprise.
No surprise to anyone who works for Google that the Public Accounts Committee would take a very dim view of the idea that no one in the UK was doing selling at Google.
The UK is one of the most successful markets for Google. The MP who grilled its sales boss over their tax arrangements is adamant that they and other big firms need to start paying more.
As a committee, we're angry, and the British people are angry. And to find in that context companies like Google, Amazon, Starbucks and others brazenly organising their tax affairs in such a way so that they aggressively avoid tax.
Speaking at the recent Hay Festival, the executive chairman of Google defended the company.
It is normal for companies to do what Google is doing. British companies do the same thing in America. This is in fact how the international tax regime works.
Some tax experts argue it's time Parliament pulled its weight too.
The real fact is that most of the planning methods used by Google and the big corporations aren't loopholes, they're fundamental principles of UK tax law.
George Osborne has made the issue a priority ahead of Britain's chairmanship of the G8 next week. Tackling tax avoidance is now very much top of that agenda.